Again, do you remember the days of the old schoolyard when you were in elementary school, maybe junior high? Do you remember the powerful learning experiences, those ones that had strong emotional appeal, that you still remember today? Let me show you my examples. Way back in grade 2, there I am. I was with all my friends, with Mrs. Baker, who's our teacher. I was in a small rural school, Bentley School, and my dad here, looking familiar, was my teacher. I don't remember a lot about grade 2 other than getting into trouble. I remember 3 particular times that I still remember to this day. One was sharpening my 24 pack of Crayola pencil crayons, because that was new back then, and I was very proud of my pencils. I got in trouble for falling in a puddle once and having to take my pants off and sitting on the dryer with a blanket wrapped around me. And I remember getting into trouble for not knowing how to spell the 3 kinds of there. And I had to stay after school to practice. That's about all I remember about grade 2. Not so powerful, but remember, a powerful learning experience is attached to emotions. So perhaps in grade 4, I had better learning experiences. Grade 4, here I am once again with all my friends. We were in a split class, so I had some new friends, and our teacher was Mrs. Oliver. Grade 4, I remember, because that was the year we got homework. We had to practice homework a lot, and I didn't like that too much because it took away from my time with my friends after school. Grade 4, that's about all I remember, except for 2 other experiences. See, I was in a split class, so the other grade 4s were with this teacher, Mrs. Lutz. She was young, blonde, from California. She had these new ideas that she brought with her. One of those ideas was to do a field trip, an overnight 2-day field trip to Calgary. And we got to spend time overnight in the Army barracks, where we got to look at tanks, got to climb on tanks. I remember looking at rifles and guns and war pictures. And that was the first time that I got to stay away and spend time with my friends without my parents around. On that field trip, we also went to the Heritage Park, learned about the history of Alberta. We also went to the Calgary Zoo. We went to the Calgary Aquarium that existed at that time. And we even topped it off with a breakfast meal up at Calgary Tower. So for a kid from small town Alberta, this was pretty exciting. The second powerful learning experience I remember from grade 4 was when our 2 classes studied Mexico. I don't really remember studying Mexico other than the culminating project, which was a Mexican fiesta. We got to eat tacos, the very first time I've ever eaten tacos. And we had hot chocolate that had vanilla and cinnamon in it. And I remember I dressed up. I had a white shirt and a sombrero, and I had maracas. And I still remember that very clearly today. I can picture myself in my outfit. Grade 6 was even better. Grade 6, I had Mrs. Rhea as a teacher, Mr. Ronald, Mr. Carlisle, and we had a lot of fun. Because in grade 6, our teachers believed on hands-on learning and collaborative learning. So Mr. Carlisle had us work in partners, designing different learning, learning together. Mrs. Rhea had us teach others how to, what we were learning about. I remember I had to teach my peers about the medieval ages, and I had to design a diorama of medieval castles to use as a teaching tool. And Mr. Ronald had us in science build electronic circuits. So I remember that very well. Now, junior high wasn't so powerful. A lot of traditional learning, a lot of sitting, passive learning, a lot of note-taking, which I didn't enjoy because I didn't like writing. And you'll see that not a lot of powerful, positive learning experiences from junior high. But grade 6 was probably the best example for me of powerful learning. Now, it's your turn to share powerful learning experiences from your time on the old schoolyard to be shared as your next blog entry. Good luck.